Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I want to talk about Zanie because her rate up recruitment banner has 11 days left. We've had 10 days of testing her and I want to give you my opinion on should you pull her or should you wait a bit longer. Now the short of it is that in my opinion, if you haven't already pulled Zanie, I think you should wait a bit longer because we're going to have the Aurora Squad Ravaged Realm come out to global server in 2 days from right now. A lot of team testing will go on. And then we'll actually definitively be able to say what is the score gap being created by Zanie. As of right now from the VN server testing, Zanie is providing a minor score gap because she is the best damage dealer for team number 2. If there is some way that Zanie can be made a good damage dealer for team number 1, or if somehow people can figure out a Harok combo with Zanie, which was not working on VN server by the way, even though Harok can devour the turrets of Zanie, on the VN server, with all the testing which was done, basically Harok just ended up dealing no damage when he was running Zanie teams. So maybe with testing on global server something can change, but as of right now it doesn't look like there is that synergy between Zanie and Harok, unfortunately, which was one of the major selling points of Zanie, thinking that her turrets could be really good food for Harok, but it doesn't seem to be working that way. Now for the other game modes, we have Dream Realm. Currently we have Endless Bosses, which is a bit unfortunate because Zanie doesn't shine for Endless Bosses, but that being said, she still is in one of the best teams for Elusia, one of the 8 Dream Realm bosses, and in that team, there is a Sinbad version, there is a Zanie version. They both have the potential of getting around the same score. For me, Zanie was better. I think for maybe 50% of players, Zanie is better. So Zanie is useful there. However, that is not enough of a usage to actually warrant building her just for that. So that is something definitely to keep in mind. The other thing is for pre-endless bosses, even though if Zanie has potential, we just don't know how much that potential is because her rate up banner is going to end before we even make it into the new season where pre-endless bosses are going to begin. So we basically have a lot of things kind of up in the air, but honestly, if I talk about it, Zanie is not going to be able to compete with the damage of Shamira. And when you look at pre-endless Dream Realm teams, they're usually all going to be Shamira with buffing Shamira, like Damon, and then debuffing the enemy with like Rainier, and then Twins for more buffing, and basically those are the teams which people end up running for pre-endless bosses. Bonnie usually has a 5th hero. So is there room in a team like that for Zanie? Is Zanie going to be good in any Dream Realm boss? I don't know. It's yet to be determined, and honestly, when you think about it, if Shamira is already a better damager than Zanie for pre-endless bosses, then how likely is it that Zanie is also going to be able to fit into those teams? So that's the thing that we don't know right now. Now let's come to PvP. So PvP is an area where Zanie is decent, but again, not overpowered or broken, because Zanie in PvP, she has some issues. First of all, her and her turrets have survival issues. You need to protect them, whether it be from Guardian Artifact, whether you have like, just a rapid nuking comp. If you have Lightbearer faction talents, you have like a Nero on the Lightbearer faction, you just shred through the enemies quickly, have Zanie's turrets firing off and killing enemies quickly, and then you kill them so fast that they're not even able to break through your turrets. That is another way basically of Zanie working. Or you have Kallen, for example, having Kallen protect the heroes on your team and buy time for your Zanie turrets to deal damage. Those are basically the comps I've seen work for Zanie. I am running Zanie on my Supreme Arena defense, and I think Zanie can be a strong option. But honestly, when you look at the Zanie teams, is Zanie really doing anything that any other hero couldn't do in place of her? Not really. That is basically the thing as of right now. Now, in the future, if we're going to have the Phantomal system to replace the Faction Talent Prime Carrier tiles, and how Faction Talents might evolve in the future, it could potentially be that turrets could benefit more in future seasons, like having these turrets deployable. And who knows what type of boss content will come out that maybe you want to have more bodies on the field. And of course, her turrets do count as independent heroes or independent units, and they should be receiving like Shakira's Lupine's aura buff. So there are definitely ways I could see that Zanie could be useful or interesting, but there's no basically confirmed as of right now in the current state of the game of Zanie being needed. That is basically the thing. So Zanie is a hero which I wouldn't be surprised if she has more uses going forward in the future. But in the same way, I also wouldn't be surprised if she just kind of remains where she is, being like kind of like an average hero in multiple areas, but not really quite good enough to make it to a spot on any one of your teams. So with all of that said, basically, you should be getting the point that I believe Zanie is a quite skippable hero. There is not any pressure at all to be recruiting for her, and definitely there's no harm in waiting for the optimal Aurora squad to be found out, and then deciding, do you want to build up Zanie if it is enough of a score gap, or if you were already planning to recruit Zanie and you have the resources to do it, then this is just like another like an added benefit you're getting by building her, by also helping, like, she will allow you to score a bit high in Ravaged Realm. So that is basically the thing about Zanie. I think that she is an overall, if I just had to sum it up, an average hero. Now, I don't think she's bad, and I think she's more interesting than some of the worst heroes which were released this season. But in the same way, I think the heroes which were better than her this season were Damon, Valara, Pandora. Those are the top 3 heroes for this season. And even Thador, I believe, is a tier above Zanie, because Thador is good in PvP and very good in PvP as a supportive tank, providing a lot of useful damage-oriented buffs to the carry behind him, and even debuffs onto the enemy team with the Dark Wound on the first ultimate cast of your lieutenant. Honestly, Thador is much more solid in PvP compared to Zanie as of right now. Apart from that, Thador is also really important for some later AFK stages, if that is something you're interested in pushing. Zanie is just really not at all used in AFK stages, and for the other game modes, just kind of average, not even up to the tier of Thador in PvP, in my opinion. So that is basically the thing about Zanie. Overall, just kind of like quite passable hero with maybe some future use, and overall I did make it probably a bad decision, kind of a regrettable decision, which I jumped the gun. I max invested into Zanie, and hopefully it pays off in the future, but it could very well never pay off, right? That's basically what I'm saying about Zanie. She's a hero which is interesting, and I think maybe can have future usage, but if she ends up never getting that future usage, it's basically just a bad investment that I made, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So that is the thing about Zanie. Hopefully it is helpful and maybe clears things up for you. Of course, wait and see for the Aurora Squad optimal teams. And if you guys have any other thoughts about Zanie, feel free to share them in the comment section. I'm sure there are things which I missed, so that would be great if you could also point them out. But thanks for watching, guys. If you're not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, feel free to join that. There is a link to that in the description of this video. We talk about everything related to AFK Journey. Also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Firelight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.